44 states have utilized new educational standards known as Common Core.
If you're a parent, you've probably heard the controversy over the new Common Core educational standards.
We adopted the Common Core.
The advocates of the Common Core.
Common Core curriculum.
Common Core. Common Core.
Common Core.
Common Core standards.
Latest in education news, the Common Core. But what exactly is the Common Core?
We went out and asked a few of our fellow students at Waukesha West High School what they thought.
Hey, do you know anything about the Common Core? Do you know what that is?
No, not really.
Can you tell me what you think the Common Core is?
I have no idea.
Do you know anything about the Common Core?
Siri. Here it is. The Common Core states standards.
You know, it's something with school, man.
It sounds like something that has to do with military.
Hey, do you know anything about the Common Core?
The what?
The Common Core.
No idea.
I think most Americans really had very little idea what Common Core meant until they started to hear relatively vitriolic characterizations one way or the other.
So, to set the record straight, the Common Core is actually a set of standards that outlines where each student should be at the end of every grade in English, language arts, and mathematics.
It is designed as a more difficult curriculum to push America's students to do better in school. But now, is the Common Core really a good thing?
I've been arguing for years for something like the Common Core because I think at the very least if you get a family that moves from one part of the state to another part of the state or from a state to a different state, there should be no lapses in their educational or their children's educational development, that there should be consistency across the board.
I guess it makes sense so that, you know, each state, you're just learning the same thing, all the kids are learning the same thing, get a better gauge on what states lack, I guess, in education.
I know as a child, I moved from a very urban school district to a rural school district, and at that urban district I was considered near the head of my class, and when I went out to the rural district I found out that I was severely behind to the point where I had to be held back in second grade and repeated because my skill set was so down. I think Common Core would help eliminate situations like that.
Not only does the Common Core provide a nationwide curriculum, but the curriculum is designed to accelerate the learning process by being far more advanced and challenging than ever before.
The difference is the level of rigor that's being expected. As an example, we used to read Lord of the Flies in our 12th grade English class, and now it is a 9th grade read for all 9th graders. And so they're definitely upping what they are expecting students to be able to do at each level of school.
My brother, who's in middle school, has a robotics team in middle school, and they are one of the few middle school robotics teams out there. Because they are under the Common Core way of teaching and they're learning advanced mathematics, like my brother just started learning Pascal's triangle the other day, and that's something that I learned this year in calculus, so I mean very accelerated. But his robotics team does well in every competition they compete in. And I think a lot of that has to do with the amount of work that they're put on, or the amount of work that they're put under for Common Core, and that they can tackle, you know, what they need to do and do a good job with it.
I think the good side of the Common Core is it's challenging. I think that it's making people reevaluate the way that they do things, and anytime you have those kind of conversations that challenge people to be better, good things have the potential to happen, and that's good.
We can debate all we want in Washington about whether or not this is a good thing. More kids are ready to go to college. More kids are ready to go on to do what they want to do next in their life. This is important.
So the Common Core does an excellent job at improving education here in America. It makes the system more rigorous and allows for universal education throughout the entire nation. However, that being said, not everything is exactly perfect with the Common Core. There are a few issues that we feel could be addressed, specifically the implementation.
I saw teachers feeling, to some degree, pretty excited about what was in the standards. Some of them feeling really overwhelmed, especially they were very aware of timetables. In fact, the thing I kept saying in my series about DC was this ticking time clock. They're always looking at the clock on the wall and realizing they only had so much time to do something they didn't feel they had enough time to do.
With the expectations that go along with the Common Core, there's a lack of training. And so with that, when teaching, it's just very difficult to make sure we meet those high expectations for students.
I don't think we should do anything but acknowledge the fact that we've been slow to provide teachers what they need to teach these standards.
We hear about it, and then all of a sudden these districts are mandated to do it, and a lot of teachers haven't even been trained.
I think it does start at the top, and again, as a person who's not a crazy big fan of them, I think governors at the state level need to either decide, hey, we're on it, we're going to use them, or we're not going to use them. And that's an honest criticism that I have here in the state of Wisconsin. I can respect people either way. If we're going to have the Common Core, fine. If we're not going to, great. But we're kind of this lukewarm, half on, half off, and when you don't have that state guidance, then that leaves the folks in the trenches floundering. Then what standard do we have to work with?
And so you're kind of like, I guess, a little concerned at that point, like, is it going to be truly the right thing? Or like...
I think it is the right thing. I just question if it's being driven by the right people.
Okay. And why would that be a problem, if it were politicians versus, say, like educators, actual educators?
Just because I know what a car can do doesn't mean I should get into the automotive industry and start telling people how to design cars better and how to create a manufacturing lab of automobiles better, because I really don't know anything about the automotive industry. I know what a car can do. I don't know how to create it though.
Right. So the Common Core is a great idea. However, in practice, it does leave some to be desired, specifically with the implementation.
While early results have been promising, due to lack of proper training, they are not and will not be as good as they otherwise might have been.
However, with that training, it does give students the potential to lead a very successful life. It's a step in the right direction.
So let's keep those steps coming.